Good evening, Big Kid Crypto here, MMKK. Tonight we have Elephant Token with us, SK Crypto. Without further ado, do you want to quickly introduce yourself and talk to us about what Elephant is all about?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is SK CryptoK. I have been in this wonderful world of DeFi for 2.5 years, and I'm just a volunteer member of the Elephant Money community. I'm not paid to do this. However, some say I speak better than BT in regards to making this in a more layman's, easy to understand way. But yeah, in my 2.5 years of all the projects I've seen and participated in and made gains in and made losses in, there's just one that's been consistently performing the entire time for all of those 2.5 years. Fun fact, my very first video on my YouTube channel was about Elephant Money before the token even came out. So yeah, this is a passion project for me. This is a protocol that I deem as my number one, and I am happy to be here and teach you guys about why it's my number one and why it's going to just blow your mind. So I'm willing to take any questions, whatever you guys have. And oh, actually, let me get my screen share going while you guys think of something.
Did you bring the little guy with you?
Yeah, what up, bro? Yes, my dude.
Hell yeah.
What up?
Hey, get out of here. This is my show.
But anyway, yeah, they're there. They're got my whole arsenal here if need be. Let me check. And you got to excuse me too. I like just woke up from a power nap and I'm still sipping on coffee right now. But yeah, as far as feel free to jump in at any point and stop me. But I hope I can hold your undivided attention for at least about 30 minutes, so you can get the baseline on why Elephant Money is unlike anything you have seen elsewhere. Okay, but the fundamental thing that Elephant is aiming to be is a decentralized community bank. Okay, this is a cooperative where the community stores their profits, whether it's in the real world or the crypto world. If you want to participate in your 10x launches and then park your profit somewhere, I would suggest Elephant Money being one of those best places to actually store your value at, because at the end of the day, this is a business, right? And the share price for this business is the actual token, which, if you haven't seen the chart yet, it's absolutely on a tear. But then if the token is the share price, and as the business is successful and share price go up, right? Well, then you have the other contracts in the protocol that generate yield. That's the product being sold by Elephant, which is yield. And that comes in the form of the futures contract right here, which we can talk about how you can lock up your principal but earn a consistent 0.5% per day, or 0.5% a day. And then also we have the NFT collection that has just come out. This way, you can earn Elephant rewards passively, right? But there's a number of different yield generating components in this ecosystem. However, the first thing we're going to talk about is the Elephant token. It's the easiest thing to understand. You don't need to compound anything. You don't need to worry about it. It is a set it and forget it type token. And it's engineered to only go up. So a Big Kid, I don't know if there's anywhere any questions so far, or
Yeah, I guess I'm the host. I don't have any questions. I did listen to Bankteller's AMA the other day. So if you just want to go ahead, SK, and I think people won't be shy. If they have questions, they can chime in.
All right, absolutely. So some of you guys already caught the Koen merge Twitter space last night. You may already have been hit with the coup de grace, so you already know some of what I'm going to say here. But this token is absolutely ripping. So I want everyone to understand that this is not a new startup token. Okay, this has already been established. This token actually launched on, what was it, May 4th of 2021. Okay. And in that time, it has amassed quite a large bag of liquidity. All right. So on the Binance Smart Chain, this is holding 2 LP pairs. One is elephant paired with BNB. The other one is elephant paired with BUSD. You combine those locked liquidity totals for $73.5 million. Okay. And in addition to that, you have the linchpin to the entire system, which is the elephant treasury. You will hear me reference this a lot. This is AKA Bertha. That is how important she is. And she has a value of damn near $59 million, as you can see on screen. So $59 million plus the $73.5 million. Yeah, you're looking at a deep liquidity juggernaut. All right. That is going to supply shock, if you haven't already noticed the chart, as we crest up the elbow of this parabola. All right. And then soon, before you know it, we will be straight vertical, just like we were last time. I'm going to show you the recipe of what occurred before and how everything's coming together to make this happen again for mathematically assured multiples on your token. Not financial advice, do your own research, but let's look at the math and all of that, right? So, actually, there is one chart I want to bring up, and let me see. Boom. Okay. So essentially the concept, if I were to break it down real easily for the elephant token, right? It is inherently a tax token. There's a 10% in and out tax that has, is the value capture vehicle for this entire ecosystem. So when we talk about the token and we talk about these stats, right? If you were to go in and buy the token, instead of, right now, actually, instead of the 10% tax, you can get it for an 8.5% tax if you are connected to an upline partner. So get that 1.5% discount, okay? And that applies to your buy and sells. But just understand with the 10% tax, right? Half of that tax collected immediately goes out as reflections to all holders, right? And what do I mean by all holders? We're going to look at this pie chart right here, brought to you by my friend CryptoStu. But there is a finite amount of elephant tokens, right? There's only 1,000 trillion tokens, half of which are held by the graveyard. The graveyard is a smart contract that builds via reflections from 50 to 51%, and then it rebalances back down to 50%. And when it does that, it's actually a 10 trillion token buildup. Half of those 10 trillion are sold on the chart for a big red candlestick, and then it's paired with the remaining 5 trillion and then locked into the BNB LP, right? So half, 500 trillion, are inside of the graveyard. The other 500 trillion, okay, are broken down as such. You've got your participants, you've got Bertha, and then you've got the LP pairs. And I'm just going to show you this cool graphic when I hit play. This is just since May 1st of last year, but look at the breakdown of what's occurring here, okay? You have all the buys and sells happening on the token, and then look at how Bertha's getting bigger. You see this, right? That's the crux of everything I'm going to teach you, okay? The LPs are shrinking because the available amount of tokens are disappearing, right? There's not enough available and going around. And Bertha, being the biggest whale in the system, is gobbling up those tokens. Look at her growth. You see this, right? Now, when if I were to ask you, big kid, to invest into really anything, any new token startup, or even an established token like Bitcoin or whoever, inherently the problem with that is you don't know who the whales are, right? Those are tokens or share price, even in Apple and Microsoft. Those are things you invest in, but because you don't know who the whales are, you are at their whim and mercy for when they sell. And if they were to sell a big enough bag, they can cause a large enough scare on the chart and shake out the retail investors, right? And you might be left holding the bag. But here in Elephant, it's completely different because you know exactly who the whale is, right? And the whale has a name. It's Bertha. And so as you and I and anyone in this room are buying the elephant tokens. They are coming out of the LPs, the BNB and BUSD pair, right? But we're not the only ones buying it, guys. You've got Bertha as well that is also buying those tokens. And she is that selfless whale that does not dump on you. I want you to think of it that way, right? If you know exactly who the whale is that you want on your team, right? This whale, you know, who doesn't have medical bills or a mortgage to pay or college tuition to worry about for their kids, anything like that. This is a selfless whale that doesn't dump the token, right? And the larger she gets, the more of a backstop she acts as on the price. That's why the price only goes up. And you can already see in the last year how she's only done that. So any questions so far? No questions. All right. So
I got one. Who controls Bertha?
So Bertha is controlled in a sense. So BT has keys to whitelist contracts in and out of Bertha based on set APRs. Okay. You can only interact with Bertha with contracts. And so it's not like, you know, Bertha being a cookie jar. BT, the dev, can't just go in and, you know, just reach in and rob Bertha, right? And we'll actually talk about an exploit that occurred a year and 4 months ago. But now you have a ring of contracts that protect all the incoming and outgoing money from Bertha. So, yeah, there's, you know, right now, while we're still post recovery of this attack that occurred over a year ago, you know, we're still in build mode. We're still in recovery mode. We're still actually nursing Bertha back to health, right? And it isn't until the sister token trunk gets pegged, when that regains peg, right? That is when the system is post recovery. That is when we're done. That is when BT will renounce everything, and it'll truly be decentralized. Now, as far as BT, I realized I didn't even mention anything about him. Sorry, man, if you're listening. So Bankteller is the founder of this project, right? He's been coding in DeFi for over 6 years now, and Elephant Money represents the culmination of everything that he has done and also learned across DeFi. He's coded on the Ethereum chain, the Tron chain, and now the BSC. Now, in addition to that, you know, he's got over 25 years in the business world and economic world. He's been CTO at Fidelity. He's got experience with fintech and State Street. He is also a computer scientist from MIT. Okay, and you know, he's just a genius, and he's the best at this craft right here. He can envision something and actually code it. Now, BT is doxed. You can find his LinkedIn out there. People know this man. You know, they know his face. They know where he lives. Like, there is no reason for him to do anything nefarious here at Elephant Money. And I can attest, having seen how he's handled everything pre and post exploit, I can attest to his character and his hard work and his drive to really make sure this cash flow for all, this motto he lives by, is attainable for everybody. This is a place where minnows, shrimp, and whales can all thrive ethically and not off the backs of others, like other Ponzi projects that you see out there. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. That's a good one.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So continuing on, you know, I'm going to break down the Dune analytics here. So this is mainly why I can tell you, based on what's happened in the past, I have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen in the future. Okay. And we're going to look at this Dune analytic chart right here, the red and the blue. These numbers on the side can kind of comprise that, but let's start with this, right? In blue, these are the LPs, right? This is how many tokens are in the LPs. And if I were to bring this chart right here, this is the yellow slice of this pie. You see the BNB and BUSD? You combine that, and that's what you get in blue. And at the moment, right, here in the LPs, we have 107 trillion tokens in the LPs, of which in the last 7 days we have drained out nearly 5 trillion. That means over here in the blue, you see how the blue is going down. You see this, right? Right there. And then in the treasury in red, this is Bertha, right? On this pie chart. This is Bertha that we just looked at. And she represents red on this graph. Right now, she is at 169 trillion tokens. And in the last 7 days, she has gained 1 trillion tokens. So this is in red, how she keeps growing. Now, let's take a deeper look at the left half of the chart. Why am I so bullish that this is a multi-billion-dollar protocol staring at you in the face, right? This is why. This isn't something I'm speculating. It's something the math shows it should do, okay? So this is back pre-exploit, right? And at that point in time, the LPs were getting drained right here, okay? You see the blue coming down, and then you also see Bertha was growing at a rapid rate. And eventually, right here where they crossed, okay, this is the point where Bertha became larger than the LPs. Look down from where this crossed, and what did the price do? The price is in this dark red. Somebody tell me who's looking at this chart right now. At the cross, what did the price do?
Vertical. It started to go vertical.
Yes, we started to crest up this elbow of this parabola. You see this little slant right here. And then before you knew it, we were going straight vertical on the chart. Okay. Now, for those who haven't heard this yet, this was back when we were a 40 million market cap down here. And by the time we were at the top, it was a 600 million market cap. That is a 15x in 30 days. Okay. 40 million to 600 million in 30 days. Think about that. We also went from a holder count from 6,000 holders to 18,000 holders in the same 30-day period. That's not from Telegram circles and YouTubers and TikTokers, right? That's from algorithmic charting websites. You know, that's from chart watchers. That's just from FOMO and word of mouth. And, you know, things were getting crazy for those 30 days. Now, you've already heard me describe, though, that Bertha is supposed to be that whale that doesn't dump on you, right? So what do you think this exploit did? Okay. Nothing administratively was breached at Elephant Money. All right. The contract for the Elephant token itself was fine. The trunk contract was fine. It was Bertha, the treasury, had direct user interaction where you can redeem in and out of Bertha all in a single block. So it took a $261 million flash loan to then breach, mint, redeem out of Bertha and then zap her value. You see how the red disappeared, right? So when the red disappeared, all those blue tokens in the wild, remember the available tokens that you can buy on the market? That jumped up. You see this? So Bertha went away. She relinquished all her tokens back into the wild. That's why the blue jumped up. You see that, right? And then that's when the founder, you know, just put everything out there on Medium. He was just saying, okay, guys, this is how the attack vector occurred. Nothing administratively was breached. This is where the money got tornado cashed into, and it sat there. We called the FBI. They're looking at it, yada, yada. And he just, you know, put his nose down to the grindstone and kept building. You know what I'm saying? And he instilled that confidence in the community of, hey, we got deep liquidity. We're going to be okay. I'm not going to launch a version 2. I'm not going to go, you know, walk away and try to, you know, build another project. No, we already cracked the code. Because when you look, when the red and the blue crossed, look at what happened. He discovered right here, he just cracked the code for DeFi. This was a realization that occurred, okay? Never mind the exploit. This is the more important takeaway, right? This is the recipe for how you go parabolic. And now, what do you see on this chart, guys? A year and 4 months later, what do you see? What do you see?
She crossed again, and she's headed parabolic, baby.
Boom. Exactly.
Yeah, remember them days from the first time around, SK.
Yeah,
And
it was wild, wasn't it?
Nuts, man.
Yeah, it was absolute pandemonium. It was crazy to just wake up every day and you're looking at your elephant bag just go up and up and up. You know, it started being 1% a day, then 3% a day, then 5% a day. It was madness, guys, for those 30 days. And now, right here, you've got it to where it just repeated itself. The red and the blue just crossed, and then you can clearly see what the token's doing. You clearly see that, right? This is blockchain data on Dune Analytics.
So
this isn't a pretty picture that I painted.
I got a question because I know you want people to be active and give you things to talk about, like you don't have enough to talk about with this protocol. But since we're talking about the exploit, and now we are back a year later, and the token is getting ready to do the same thing. Can you explain what security measures BT put in place or what was in place then and what BT's done now so the exploit can't happen again?
Yes, exactly. And then I don't know if Papa Stonks is in here, but man, he hit me with a good one yesterday. So let me see if I can find let me go to the trunk page right now. So when it comes to the Elephant Treasury Bertha, the analogy was made that she had direct user interaction, right? Like when people at the time would mint trunk token, it would immediately buy elephant token in the background with it and or part of it and put it into Bertha, and then you can redeem that trunk token and it would do the same thing. It would sell, right? And when you inject $261 million directly into Bertha, it lopsides pools and all sorts of things that aren't supposed to happen. And they redeemed all this stuff hundreds of times in one block, right? So, the analogy goes that, back then, Bertha, her security was like, Paul Blart, the mall security guy, right? And now everything that's been added since then, she's basically protected by SEAL Team 6 and a nuclear arsenal and everything, right? So what's been added since then now is a ring of contracts, okay, that protect her. So there is no more of there's no such thing as adding money directly to Bertha anymore. Okay. You cannot interact with her directly. You can interact with contracts, the ring of contracts that surround her now. Okay. One of which is this BUSD treasury right here. So this collects money and then up to 50% a day comes out of this, buys elephant token and then stuffs it into Bertha, right? So this is part of the inflow into Bertha. And then you've also got an outflow as well. And it's all right here in these governance contracts. These are community press buttons. You see here, buy back, peg, and redeem. For example, Trunk. Trunk is a token that needs, purchases on it. So if someone comes here and hits the peg button, it'll take this $709 worth and buy Trunk on PancakeSwap. Right. But that only happens when someone calls this. So these governance contracts, even this elephant buyback strategy right here, this is coming out of that BUSD treasury I just showed you. This $1.2 thousand right here. If I were to hit this buyback button, this $1,000 will go buy elephant and stuff it into Bertha. Right. So these all build up slowly with a certain APR set in the background. And only 24 hours worth of funds can be collected right here before someone has to call these contracts. This is what's cool. The founder doesn't need to do anything. These are community pressed contract calls, right? And you can only interact with this money that's going in and out of Bertha. Hopefully that makes sense.
I want to sneak in, SK, and just welcome Bankteller to the room. He is the founder and CEO of Elephant. So welcome, Bankteller.
Nice. What's up, BT?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is it coming through?
It is. We hear you.
I'm in the car. I'm just running some errands.
Okay. Yeah. Anything you got for the people right now, or do you just want to jump in at any point later?
I know I got a link from Big Kid, so I was like, okay, asking me to join, so I joined.
I appreciate you being here.
Yeah. So I probably got 10, 15 minutes before I could probably go longer, but like just while I'm in the car by myself. If people want to ask anything, that's fine.
Oh,
That's just fine.
Go ahead, guys.
Just
yeah,
one,
take it away.
just one clarification. Like, technically, I'm not even a CEO. I'm just a, I would say founder / like head janitor. Like, no, just kidding. No, but like, develop, and elephants. I mean, elephant money. I keep saying it's feature complete. Of course, there's always something else to code or something. But on chain, for the most part, especially with these NFTs, I really do feel like we have a little bit better than what you get from most, small time regional town community banks, credit unions type thing. We don't have lending built in, but of course, if you have good cash flow, you don't need to borrow. And so, and there's a lot of cultures and religions where, borrowing or at least charging interest for money and stuff like that is a bad thing. And if you're earning great income, then you don't necessarily need to use leverage like that, right? And a lot of times people use leverage to enslave people and things like that. So we don't necessarily need that baked into the core protocol. And of course, if we got the right proper recognition in the industry, then of course elephant could always be used as collateral at any lending on-chain lending institution like a Aave or a Venus or a Rari Capital. List goes on and on. Radiant Capital, all those things. There should be no problem recognizing elephant as collateral that can be borrowed against at those places. We do have a partnership with Open Leverage, so yeah, so you can actually borrow against your elephant now, but something like a Venus or even Cream Finance, though somehow I feel like if I partner with Cream, they would figure out a way for us to for people to lose their elephants. So, there is always that risk as well. So,
what, I do got a question. I was going to ask SK this, but I'll ask the man himself. Bankteller, what are the plans for the BUSD side of Elephant with the talks of next February BUSD going away?
I think that's just a statement, but they haven't released any plans on what that actually means. There's a lot of stakeholders involved in that. And at the end of the day, especially there's only one place, BUSD only matters on this blockchain. If it's on Ethereum, who cares? It only matters on BNB chain. And on BNB chain, BUSD is paired up with other tokens of value and of note. And in some cases in lock liquidity, in some cases in V2 liquidity, V3 liquidity, probably even V4 liquidity at some point. But long story short is the value in liquidity pools is not created or destroyed. It's simply just transforms, right? And just you exchange one for the other. So there's tons of lock liquidity on chain. Of course, we can outgrow BUSD, but BUSD is just one liquidity pool. Right now we have WBNB, BUSD. We can have a BTCB back pool. I think, running, if we just relied more solely on the WBNB pool, getting that below 40 trillion, 30 trillion, we'll be bullying the supply in that liquidity pool such that we become very price insensitive, right? Because the ratio of the tokens in the pool is there's such a high discrepancy that you could see a case where so for example WBNB could go down %, you know, you wouldn't see the issues that that we necessarily have now. Though we're not really that sensitive now anyway. So it is what it is. We're going to just continue to work with our partners there. You know, we could spin up a USDC pool, but we don't want to get into any other. We don't want to have any other issues with stable coins in general. So I think at this point, leaning more on the BNB pool in the short term would be the play.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. Sounds like you're thinking about it and you will act as necessary.
Right. You know, this is not a pressing. You know, they can say they're not supported, but then BUSD will still just live on chain and still be worth $1 for like years to come.
BT, I have a question. Your recent trip to Hotlanta, were the people you're talking to pretty hyped about Elephant?
Oh yeah, I think you saw that. You know, between the conversations with you guys and the folks there at it definitely, you know, because we had the conversation with you guys before, but I think the apage definitely increased at the end of InvestFest.
Did you actually give a presentation or anything out there, BT, or were you just networking with folks?
Just networking. That's literally all I do when I go out to these places, other than a couple of key conferences. Next year, this was a headhunting exercise, or like a scouting exercise. So basically, you know, having important conversations and deals. Like last time, like when I went to ETH Denver and some of the more technical conferences, that's how we got like a lot of our official partnerships done over the past couple of months.
10 years later.
I'm on a call. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's how I got a couple of those partnerships done. There's going to be some huge trust me when I say we're going to start to move into, you know, I've always said, you know, well, the thing is, this has been a work in progress for 6 years and 2 years proper for Elephant itself, and then 25 years before I actually was focused 100% on DeFi, right? So, but 2 years in, you know, this vehicle is finally coming to market. And so now we're well past the prototype stage and all that stuff. And we're just rolling this out at production scale. And now it's at a point where we just need to get this onto the dealer's lots, and, you know, may the best salesperson win, right? And literally, in the case of Elephant, if you're the best salesperson, you literally could have a direct, you know, network of people under you, and you could be earning 0.5% off of every single sale. So, like, I don't know how much we really talk about that. It's not a big deal, but I just got off of a call with someone who works in like physical signage, you know, and has also worked with like major, you know, internet marketers and things like that, you know, on the marketing side, on the signage side, you know, who can get Elephant on billboards everywhere, and also knows people, you know, who basically operate large networks of people to promote anything. And so all of that's coming. And then especially when you talk about the kind of folks that I met at InvestFest, you know, how many of those people were late on a meme coin? How many of those people were, scammed on this NFT project, that NFT project, right? So they may already be basically a qualified buyer. What does it mean to be a qualified buyer for Elephant? You know how to basically buy Elephant. If I just tell you the symbol, if I just tell you the pair, you know where to get it. If I say Elephant/WBNB and you can actually buy it without getting your hand held, you're a qualified buyer. So I'm just going to say it as simply as I can. There's a ton. So InvestFest, primarily focused on the Black community, people. Diddy was there, Steve Harvey was there, but these are networks of millions of people, and everyone in that conference. There was 20,000 people in that conference. Every single one of those people was doing some type of legitimate business dealings in some way, whether it be real estate, whether it be some aspect of finance. There were tons of CPAs there, tons of tax professionals there. These are people. This is the creme de la creme of that particular community demographic. Ready to take it to the next level, motivated to take it to the next level. That's why we were all there this weekend. And unlike DeFi, these people command millions. It was not uncommon for any one of those particular people that I talked to have 500,000 followers, 1.4 million followers. Those are the kind of numbers. So, that's why I was there. I just, the call that I got off of, I was like simply saying, if I like to give analogies about, real companies traded on the S&P 500, whatever, and how they do business. I'm a business professional at the end of the day as well. So not just a technologist. So I'll keep it as simple as I can. Think about everybody who was excited to buy a Black Panther ticket, whether they were Black or anything else. But how many people bought that Marvel movie because, Black Panther was on the screen? Every one of those people who bought a ticket like that, now take that demographic and slice it by how many people own a Web3 wallet. That's how many people should be buying Elephant tomorrow. So that was one of the things that I think will materialize in the coming weeks based on the business dealings that happened there. And you saw a 5% spike in Elephant based on just some of those conversations. I'm also not discounting the fact that we have some splash damage from all the AMAs that have been happening here. So some people ask, "Oh wow, was the spike here?" Is I said, I'm not sure, but I know we've been putting in work to get the message out with people who have more connections and deeper pockets. So and that's really what the work that myself, SK, have been doing in these past couple of weeks has been about.
And BT, Big Kid here. I'll always, just my personality. I'll always like take credit when charts go up after AMAs. But if they ever go down, of course, I don't say anything then. But
that's funny. Any other questions? Any other quick questions?
We do have one question that's been asked, and I guess I can ask both of you. No, I can't find it. Lady, are you able to ask the question? I think you asked it. Or if someone's looking at the question, I'm trying to scroll up.
The question is
about the graveyard.
No, the question was about Bertha. The question was, if Bertha lets go of her tokens again, is that the right time to buy?
Oh, so Bertha never, Bertha is constantly paying out yield. 24/7 she's paying out yield. So when you see Bertha going up, that's because of net inflows are we basically have net inflows is when Bertha goes up. There's like once in a blue moon where you might actually see, the treasury go down, and that's when we have net outflows. But the higher the price gets, the more we have net inflows. If that makes sense, because most of our obligations are either proportional, like the 1% obligation to the NFT stakers is proportional 1% APR, and then also everything else is just a dollar figure obligation, and so we're going, as we keep growing and along the price curve, the value in the treasury outpaces liabilities, and so we basically get to a point where it's like always net inflows because people are always buying, obligations are always small dollar figures. So I guess that's Bertha, but then the only other thing that happens where it's potentially a time to buy is when there's a graveyard rebalance is only 5 trillion. It's only going to be a 5 trillion sell, and that sell doesn't happen all at once. It happens in stages, and so in each stage, we have so much volume in a day or throughout a day that the dip just gets eaten up, and we've seen that happen on multiple rebalances. There hasn't been a rebalance in a while since we started changing the allocation of what goes to directly to Bertha from our products, but in general, don't wait on a graveyard rebalance because you're gonna be disappointed. Like it's gonna get eaten up. You're not gonna get much of a discount at all, if any discount.
Yeah. I've got an image on screen, BT, of the last major rebalance that we had during the last run-up in March of 2022. If you guys look on your screen, you'll see what I circled. That was a 5 trillion token sell with 4-hour candlesticks. That thing got ate up within a day. But it was a dip.
Right, and we're in a new normal too, where there's a lot more awareness. And we have a lot more connections, so it'll just, if we graduate to like say, from 1 million daily volume to like 2 million, then it definitely is not going to have any impact at all.
Any other questions for BT?
Yeah, I had a question. You guys have referenced different times about front-end products and revenue streams. Can you break those down a little bit as far as what all that actually is?
SK, I'll let you you take over. I'll hop back on. I'm in transit. I'll be back in a second.
All right, brother. No, thank you, BT, for your time. We'll see you.
All right, I'll see you.
All right. So yeah, Aquaman, that's a really good question, brother. And so yes. If I go back to the main page, right? It's kind of like what I said in the beginning. If you look at Elephant Money as a business, right? You've got the share price, which is the actual token itself, right? And the product being sold, again, is the yield. So, as BT said in the last AMA before, who doesn't want yield? That is something that is always sought after, just like McDonald's hamburgers and all that stuff, right? But futures, for example, it might be a good segue to jump into futures, but this is one of the products of yield right here. And this is actually my bag, but you can see that I have almost 38,000 BUSD locked into this, right? Now, this is a cash flow engine, minimum deposit of 200 BUSD to get it started, but whatever you put in is locked. I can't change my mind and next week take out all 38,000 right here. Okay. But I am going to earn 0.5% daily on that amount. Okay. And the only way that I'm able to actually compound this is if I put in a new deposit of $200. And so if I did that right now, this would go up 200 and it would auto compound in this other 227 right here. So this will go up 427, right? And this is different from all the other ROI dApps out there where, you know, you just can just hyper compound on a daily basis for 50-cent gas fees, right? This is different. This $200 is crucial to the health of this ecosystem because, and I'll get into this a little bit later, but all money coming in through futures and also going onto the elephant token actually has a multiplicative effect. So, you know, if I just look right here, this is put together by Bailey from the EMH YouTube channel. But if you put in $100, right, this $100 is turned into $497 by Bertha. That is value that she's hodling. Okay. So, you know, if the current price per million of elephant was right here, and, you know, you see it's 0.204503, then $100 comes in, changes that price to 0.204506. You see how the 3 turned into a 6. That incremental, tiny price appreciation that occurred on the token is then spread out across that whale, Bertha's value. You know how many tokens she holds here? Today, she holds 168 trillion. At the time of this math, it was 153 trillion. But you spread out that little price appreciation across all those trillions of tokens, and you get a treasury value or a multiplicative effect of 5. You see this, right? $100 turns into 500 essentially, and it's cataloged even right here too. You know, Bailey put this multiplicative chart, and you see how it talks about the $200 buyback. This is as if you're compounding in your futures account, but that 200 that comes in, the bigger that Bertha gets in token count, right, the more value she hodls with this multiplicative effect. So let that sink in for a second, and I'll give you a good example of how that actually ties together. This is also denoted with this graphic made by CryptoStu. So this is since June of last year, but you have Bertha, her token count's growing in yellow. You see this, right? But even though her token count's growing in yellow, and we know already from this Dune analytic, I showed you this. Remember in red, this is Bertha growing, right? And we're supply shocking the price upward. That's why it's starting to go vertical. That's evident right here as well. As the token count for Bertha gets larger in yellow, and it's 105% up since last June, look at what the blue, look at the value rise of Bertha's treasury, okay? It, in the same time frame, is up 777%. That's because of that multiplicative effect that's happening. And so when BT just said it a second ago, Bertha pays out the liabilities of the system. So all the debts and liabilities generated from these yield contracts, the products being sold at Elephant, all of those debts and liabilities are growing at, you know, an exponential rate over time. But by design, Bertha and the asset growth is growing at orders of magnitude faster than that exponential rise in liabilities. There's always the gap that spreads more and more where the asset value of Bertha always outpaces the debts and liabilities of the system. And that's because of this multiplicative effect, right? And this is all part of that supply shock. That's why you also have charts that look like this. When you compare Elephant token literally to the entire world, it's outperforming Bitcoin and the S&P 500 and Apple, right? Like you see this. This is crazy. We used to chart alongside them. Now we're breaking away from them. Next thing you know, we'll just, it's just going to keep going up. So I'd like to talk about this chart too, because this is part of futures. All right. So let me bring up futures one more time. Let me piece this together for you. So if it requires $200 to even put this in and compound, just know too that this stops the serial claimers as well. This is how all this other ROI dApps failed. Because if I were to claim, my total value will deduct my $228, right? This will actually go down. And so I have to think twice, like, man, do I really want to claim right now? Because if I do, I'm going to be earning 0.5% a day on a smaller balance. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Okay. So anyway, this is one of those cash flow engines, and I'll just give you a quick example too. I've been throwing this out there, but my goal is to build this total value up to 100,000, right? And then I want to start claiming on a 3-to-1 compound to claim schedule. So this is what this is going to look like, right? If I had 100,000 BUSD right there, and I'm earning 0.5% a day on that, right? That's 500 a day. And I'm going to claim out 1 week. So that times 7 days, I get to take out $3,500, right? And so if I subtract $3,500 from my 100,000, it goes down to 96,500. You see that? And now my daily balance is not 500 a day, it's 482 a day. But remember, I did 1 week of claim. Now I'm going to do 3 weeks of compound. So this times 21 days, right? That's $10,000 that I'm about to compound in on top of my 96.5. So if I throw in a minimum deposit of $200, it will inject this 10,000 on top of my 96.5 for a new balance of 106,000. You see that, right? So I did a couple things here. Not only did I start at 100, ding it down to 96,500, and then bring it back up higher to 106,000, but now I'm earning 0.5% a day on that. So instead of $500, I'm earning $533 this time 7 days. Now my next month that I do my 3-to-1, I'm taking out $3,700. Look at that. The first month I took out 35. The next month I take out 3,700. The next month I'm going to take out 4,000, then 4,300, then 4,800, then 5,400. You see how month after month my cash flow is larger, right? And it's all sustained by Bertha. So check this out. Anybody who puts money into Bertha, this is how the money flows in. Okay. This image right here. So pay attention. Once people kind of understand this is where that light bulb, that aha moment happens, right? So look at this image that I have pulled up. Oh, what happened there? This image that I have pulled up, right? This is from like 2 months ago. This is from 2 months ago. And look at Bertha's size. She only had 144 trillion tokens in her, valued. Look at that. She had 144 trillion tokens, and she's valued at $24.5 million. You see this, right? Now, today, she has 169 trillion tokens, and she's valued at $59 million. Look at that. So even though her token count's really only gone up like 24 trillion tokens, her value has more than doubled. That's following along this trajectory that we just saw right here. Her token count goes up a measly amount, but her value is rocketing up way faster. You see that? So then what's even better is this is how the yield actually gets paid out. So, man, I can't find that image anymore. Oh, right here. So check this out. I drew this blue arrow for a reason. So when at this time 2 months ago, somebody came in with $518,000 and they deposited it into futures. Okay. That means they locked it up. You know, big kid, I'm going to say this was you, bro. You came in and you dropped 518,000 BUSD and you locked it into futures, and you know you expect to get an ROI back, right? So when this happens, this is part of that ring of contracts that protect Bertha. Remember that? So up to 50% of this a day comes out, buys Elephant token in the background, and then stuffs it into Bertha. Does that make sense? So over the course of a few days, this $518,000 is going to keep depleting every single day, buying Elephant token and stuffing it into Bertha. So here's the rub. If Big Kid put in $518,000 and that amounted to 2.5 trillion tokens, right, going into Bertha, well, here's the thing. Most of the other Ponzinomics out there, that would mean, oh, Bertha has to sell 2.5 trillion tokens to give Big Kid back his 518,000, right? That's how the normal Ponzinomic model works. It's money in, money out, right? But at Elephant, it's different. When Big Kid gives Bertha 2.5 trillion tokens today, whenever Big Kid is owed back his $518,000, Bertha doesn't sell 2.5 trillion. She sells like 300 billion, 500 billion, something way less. Does that make sense? Because Bertha is always growing in size and value, she has to sell less tokens to give Big Kid the same dollar value back. Does that make sense? Let that sink in for a second. I'll run it back if that did not make sense to anybody. Someone speak up.
Yo, how's it going, man?
Yo. Good.
Yo. Yeah, man. I think what you're trying to explain is the projection models of if the token price continue to goes up, and that's what you're trying to say. And that's what I see on the chart, that as long as that token price goes up, you can continue to say the value of the Bertha is higher. So the reason, one question I wanted to ask you was, that guy who deposited $518,000 with 0.5% on a daily return, his ROI is in 200 days. Now, I did not do enough research to know if that is ever capped or is that perpetual.
It's capped. So how there's a little question mark tab right here on the futures page. And I'm not going to read through every bullet point, but basically the cap, the max balance you're allowed to have is 1 million BUSD. You cannot put in more than that. You cannot compound higher than that. Okay. But you will earn 0.5% on that. And you can do like a rinse repeat cycle, I call it. So if you have $1 million balance and the max amount you're allowed to take out in one day, actually rate limiting over 50,000. Wait, where's it at? Well, somewhere in there it says, 50,000 BUSD max daily claim. So what that means is if you have $1 million here and you're earning 0.5% a day on that, that's 5,000 a day, right? That means in 10 days you will have accrued 50,000 right here. So what you then do is you claim out that 50,000, you pocket that, right? Your balance drops from 1 million down to 950,000, and then you just are earning 0.5% a day on 950,000. And then when this accrues back to $50,000, you just inject $200 back in, and it compounds it back up to 1 million. So you teeter totter, you seesaw between 1 million and 950. Yep.
Yeah. So there's no limit to how much people could make with their initial investment.
Oh, there is. This wallet would max out at a total of 2.5 million BUSD payout.
Okay. That's
yes.
the info I was looking for. Right.
Yes.
So
nope.
This token price, these projections, and what Bertha's value is, it's all based on if the fresh capital continues to come in. And I think that goes in the essence of what Aqua was trying to hint at, that at any point, this product that you guys are selling, which is the yield, and I love it, at some point, if the fresh capital stops coming in, what does that model looks like, and what's the contingency plan at that point when outbounds increase the inbounds flow?
All right. No, that's a great question. So that's a doomsday scenario, but I'll humor that. So let's take a look right now. If everything stopped in futures, the TVL at this moment, off of $11 million that have been truly deposited into futures, people have compounded it up, and now you have a total value locked of nearly 15 million. This is basically deposits plus compounds. This is debt owed by the system. But let me run some numbers real quick for you, because on the day that futures came out, this elephant treasury was valued at $9 million. Okay, 9 million, not 59. So if it started at 9 million and only 11 million have been deposited. What's 9 million plus 11? Somebody tell me.
20.
20, exactly. So if 11 million has come in on top of Bertha's 9 million, why is Bertha not valued at $20 million?
Because your token ratios is different. Obviously, you're not going to have a one-to-one ratios with that one. Everybody can do that math. That what you have in liquidity and what the token price is not a one-to-one ratio. So
exactly.
I will just ask again that if the outflow starts to go more than what you're getting in daily, what do those projections look like? And I think that's what we really want to know, that what would happen. So I think that's the satisfactory answer for people who might be thinking that, hey, am I buying the top? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I didn't finish my answer, but the answer is you're not. So this is engineered to not do what you're saying. For one, you have a token, you have a chart that is literally selling itself. Okay. When you look at the entire industry and you see Elephant doing that while the entire world is literally doing nothing, what does that do? Okay. It's the same exact thing that happened before where the chart sold itself when we went from 6,000 holders to 18,000 holders in 30 days. How'd you do that? The chart sold itself, right? Now you're about to have that same effect. Bear or bull market, Elephant token is designed to go up and be a beacon out there. So people are going to come in. That is inevitable. The user adoption based on this chart alone is happening, right? But then you've got content creators, you've got podcasters, you've got Medium article writers, you've got all of this arsenal of people that's growing on a daily basis covering this token while we're still relatively underground. What happens when CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko actually report us accurately, right? All of those new eyeballs that are going to be coming in. So I don't have any doubt that the user adoption is going to slow down, at least anytime soon. But more interestingly, you have to remember this, Cuzzo. It's all about the value capture that's happening on the token. This is not a taxless Pepe, Dogecoin. Those do not have treasury models. If you were listening to this right here, these tokenomics are all about the value capture. This is from that tax that's in and out on the token, right? And that goes to the graveyard. The graveyard rebalances for liquidity strengthening, price protection. Then you have Bertha being the largest whale that does not dump on you and also has the multiplicative effect in your face. This value capture is what all those other tokens lack. You have never seen anything like this. That's why it's hard to wrap your mind around it. But by design, this does not go down. By design, Bertha always grows. So that's the big difference. And I think the hang up that some people have here, because there's not a scenario where, that what you're saying happens. Now, doomsday scenario, if it did, let me still humor that, right? Let's say today, everyone stopped coming in to use futures. There's no more deposits coming in, right? Well, the TVL owed is what? $15 million, right? So if all activity stopped on futures today, we still owe $15 million to the people, right? Well, easy. Where does the yield come from to pay out that $15 million? Boom. Bertha. 59 million minus 15. You have enough money in here to pay out the futures TVL 4 times over. Okay? That's what happens if all the money at least stopped on futures. You can already pay out the yield and the debt owed on futures. You see that?
Wait a
Bertha
second.
pays it.
Now, are you saying that your total liability is $16 million in gold?
Futures alone? In futures.
Okay. What's the total liability of the entire project today?
I'd have to take a look because you've got your NFTs, which take 1% APR Bertha. You've got some Trumpet and Stampede and whatnot.
It's 15. It's 15 million.
For futures. No, but what about Trunk and all of that?
Let me also just add in here as well. So, when I say this, I want to preface it by saying you guys are doing a phenomenal job. So doesn't have anything to do with what my thoughts or comments are here. But I think what Cuzzo is trying to say is that if your token itself becomes devalued, Bertha then also becomes devalued as well. So right now you can look at the value and go, oh well, Bertha has this X amount of value locked up in a doomsday scenario. If suddenly the market cap went from 330 mil to, let's say, 100 mil for whatever reason, people took profits, sold, whatever. Now Bertha is no longer at that same value. So essentially, you're leveraging two projects in one against each other, and it's very, very successful. But if the token itself becomes devalued, all your other calculations get thrown out the window based off that model. Is I think what
but and I understand that, but okay, let's look at it a different way. The top human holder in Elephant only has what? Look right here. This is the top 4 contracts. The 5th person in line is the top human holder. What is their percentage?
You're trying to narrow it down to one person. I guess what I'm saying is if you turn it into a situation that a high percentage of the holders would sell, and I mean, I'm not saying it will happen, but
I know, but see, I have the scenario already in hand because it's already happened. We already experienced the greatest scary day on this protocol, right? And what did these top holders do? They didn't sell. They didn't sell. All of these people that are top trillionaires in this ecosystem, myself included, didn't sell. So you don't even have to worry about a bank run because literally we've already gone through this stress test. We've already proven that scenario. It didn't happen. Nobody sold. They believe in the project. Actually, this top holder right here at 8.2 trillion, he literally doubled his bag a week or two out after the exploit last year. What does that tell you? People believe in this math. So if the top human holder is only 0.8% of the entire supply, right? He can dump his bag and the chart would flinch, but it doesn't change anything, right? Every time someone sells, it's still about the value capture. Bertha is still getting her cut, if you think about it, right? I'm going to play this chart one more time. Look at how the participant count changes. But Bertha is the largest whale.
That's essentially the way any LP functions, is people sell the LP, and I know Bertha's not your LP, but essentially it's the same model. With the taxes and the revenue going different directions, yes, it does get the tokens, but the tokens get devalued, and you may not have any of your whale sell. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. But I'm saying if for whatever reason the sentiment overall changed and everyone sold half, that throws your numbers off. I mean, and again, I'm not. You've done a great job. You've done a phenomenal job. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's also, in fairness, there's a reason that it is where it's at, and it's because you did a good job. But there's also the possibility that it can go other directions too, just based on the mathematics.
I agree, but I think it's improbable your doomsday scenario because we've already done this for 2.5 years. It's already been stress tested. We've already gone through that. The price of Elephant is dictated by how many tokens are in the LPs. Right now, every time Bertha buys and every time the human holders buy, we are draining Elephant token out of the LPs. This is what the supply shock is. The more we get out of the LPs, the higher price go up, right? And this is already proven. Like, you can't have a bank run on this because even when you, again, look at this price chart, when these participants sell, Bertha gets bigger. Why? Because she's getting more tokens off of your tax collected on your sell, your buys, your transfers. That value capture, I think, is the part that's not resonating with certain folks. This isn't a taxless token like Pepe and meme coins, right? This is all about harnessing that economic energy into Bertha, the largest whale who doesn't dump. So people can profit take all they want. Look, literally all the trillionaires could likely just coordinate and dump their entire bag tomorrow and the price will go down, right? But will it completely die? Will this chart disappear? No. Will Bertha get larger? Yes, right? And then it just rebuilds itself. The sentiment can't get any lower than it is now because we've already experienced the lowest point in history a year and 4 months ago. Nothing's going to change that. It's improbable is what I'm saying. You're painting a doomsday scenario that we've already stress tested against.
Not to be funny, but we look at banks out in California and stuff with doomsday scenarios. The fact of the matter is it's realistic, and we have to think about it.
Right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Am I coming through? Yeah. This is where slow helps out a lot. We have a guy who's both SK CryptoStu and many of the top whales you see on the chart, and the holders list have all been with me for 6 years. We've been through ups and downs, multiple exploits, multiple protocols, and just simply trying to figure this stuff out in real life on chain. So, I guess in this case, everything's possible under the sun. Is it probable? Like the engine of your car, is it possible for just to blow up for no good reason? Yes. Is it probable? No. So I think in this particular case, as time goes on, and the Lindy effect kicks in as well, and more holders spend more and more time with the protocol, just like Bitcoin or any of your top tier tokens that have been around for a couple of years. The reason why they stay, your blue chip tokens stay in the top 100, because those are they become stores of value. They become more reliable just for existing, not necessarily based on their merit, because all of those tokens are speculative, right? So they're holding their value because people believe in them. In this case, it's going to hold its exact value until you sell. And every buy, every sell gets 10%. So when we did our first run-up, the run-up actually accelerated as people who bought in very early in the process sold as we went up the parabola. They're basically giving up 10% of their tokens, at a significant multiple, because it's 10%, not dollar value, it's 10% token count. So that's what it really means for Bertha to get her cut. They paid very little getting in, but that token count is real, and they're giving up that token count as they exit. And when they exit, if they want to come back in, they're going to have to come back in at a higher price. We only have 20,000 holders. So I encourage everyone, as you get more educated on not just elephant money, but if you get really educated on finance in general, then you'll understand that the only number that matters is our holder count. And so you want to be the needle that I measure the success of the protocol on has nothing to do with price. I could care less about price. I know that the constant product formula is going to take care of price for me. And then I also know what the general per capita makeup of a holder looks like. So all I really care about is, how do I get more holders? At 20,000 holders, we have no idea how much this protocol is going to impact the world. All we know right now is that the thing can hold water, but basically it has a drop of water in it, maybe not even one water bottle full in the buckets. So it's like we're just scratching the surface. Let's talk about this stuff when we have like 500,000 holders, something more meaningful, more impactful. Let's talk about when our social media is firing on all cylinders. But until then, the reality is that we have a supply adjusted price for this token of $17. We're talking about $17 Bitcoin for a token that's outperformed Bitcoin for the past 2 years with only 20,000 holders. So what all we're really talking about is the work that's needed to get from 20,000 holders to 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. Price is inconsequential, and that should be easy to understand. So we can focus on.
Essentially, that's the issue that any project has, is the holders. I mean, at the end of the day, like, adoption and holders makes or break any project. So yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but You can't. And again, like everything I was asking was not to say that it can't work or wouldn't work, but I mean we also have to be realistic about the mathematical possibilities. If the income source dries up, it then of course then it does what everything else does. It depreciates. But yes,
So
if you keep getting more holders, that problem goes away. I agree with that.
But one of the other problems with a lot of these protocols that are out there that's not being recognized in this project is liquidity, right? Look at the Pepes and the Shibas and the Doges, right? They might have a high market cap and a high holder count, but the liquidity's not there. They can't sell. Look at Shibtoshi. He couldn't sell his freaking SHIB bag if he wanted to. He couldn't when it went to 5.7 billion. He couldn't sell that bag because the liquidity's not there. And I think that, with this protocol, the liquidity is definitely there and it's growing on a daily basis, right? More liquidity than any project that we've seen come through this channel. More liquidity than that. I was talking to Big the other day about that one that everybody was all hyped about, the XRP token, right? It went to 100 million market cap, but it had $900,000 in liquidity. Nobody with a $2 million bag could have sold that bag.
DSC, I totally agree with you what you're saying. And you know what? I guess this is the right time for me to ask this. Has the team ever considered leveraging any of that liquidity to earn some money and have a secondary revenue model other than just taxes?
Well, the revenue model is not just taxes. The front office applications, that's the revenue. When you make a deposit, so let's use the NFTs as the simplest example. 100% of the NFT mint price is sent to the treasury. 100%. 100% efficiency. This has never existed in business. What's the efficiency of a supermarket or a restaurant? Supermarkets, restaurants, 3%, 5% efficiency is like you're killing it. The only businesses doing better than you are Walmart and Target. That's at 3%, 5% efficiency. Apple, they're probably operating at around a little over 50% efficiency. So, there's overhead in operating a business. The NFTs is a front office business. It provides, you mint your NFT, 100% of those funds, 100% efficiency goes to the treasury through the buyback function, which raises the price of all the tokens in the treasury, including your personal bag. So that's a phenomenal business. And what happens is at the end of every round, it cools off, right? Everybody who wanted to own an NFT has it. And so nobody buys into the next round. But then as people are still buying the token and using other products, that APR is rising, right? So you see that if you're in the NFTs at all, you've noticed that when I got off the plane and landed in Atlanta, the APR was 20%. The APR now, I guess 5 days after, is 27%. I haven't even checked like in the past couple of hours. It's probably even higher than 27% APR. Now that APR is going to keep marching up as the price goes up, right? And as when we get to 50%, 100% APR, I can get 100%. I can mint this NFT and earn 100% APR on it. That's something that like all the realtors that I met over the weekend understand, and that's something that you understand. That's phenomenal business. And so what's going to happen? The next round is going to get sold out, and the cycle just complete. So as the next round gets sold out, the APRs go back down, cools off, then it starts rising again, going. So that's just the business if we just talk about the NFTs. But we have futures and we have Stampede, which are 0.5% a day on a stable coin, right? And for those, and those very predictable annuity style products. So we're basically selling yield. And that yield's going to always get, that yield's always going to get eaten up. Like basically, you know, the futures users, they don't care about the price. They're 100% price insensitive. So they just don't care. And they always have to put $200 into compound just to use the system essentially. And so that's just going to go on forever, right? You have a futures household, you have a household that's served by the futures product. They're going to socialize that. So just like COVID or any virus, there's going to be an R naught associated with that. That one person is going to have an average impact on whoever comes after them, and we're going to have geometric growth from there. You know, just as, you know, it's going to spread. There is a R naught associated with the futures product. Any successful product is going to have, just marginally successful product is going to have some type of reach associated with it, and it's going to spread by word of mouth. So that's what we're talking about at the very base layer before we start talking about serious marketing efforts, MLM style marketing efforts, and all that, the other. So it's a flywheel.
That holds true with anything in life, any product out there. If nobody bought McDonald's hamburgers, McDonald's wouldn't be in business. If nobody bought Nike shoes, Nike wouldn't be in business. If nobody owned cars and paid for gas, we wouldn't have gas stations. So it's with anything out there in the world, right? If it's a good product, people are going to buy it. And it's going to continue to grow. Elephant is obviously a great product. So people are going to continue to buy it as they see it, as the marketing goes out, and it's going to continue to grow.
Bingo.
Appreciate that, and that's what we've been hammering home. That's why we use the hamburger analogies in the first place. And in addition to that, one additional benefit that we have that most businesses don't have is that we actually have mathematical proofs to back it up. You can write there's proofs associated with there's mathematical proofs that could be proven that any grad student from any college, you know, with a mathematics degree is going to sit down and we can actually prove, you know, what the expectations of growth are for the system and model it and actually not run it just on chain, but run it in a full simulation. And that's exactly what we have done. Multiple members of the team have data science of the community, have data science backgrounds, have backgrounds in education, teaching mathematics at multiple levels in academia. And that's why we have all these resources that specifically groups like MMK just coming in now, MMKK just coming in now, you know, you have all those resources. Many of you, I'm sure, have dived into those resources. Use CryptoStu's calculator. You can literally type in your own numbers and do your own projections based on your own financial goals. Like this is the kind of stuff. If you look at the dashboards, the Dune dashboards that we have, the Dune dashboards that SK has been showing you, how many other projects that have come across your desk can show exactly what the system's doing? Like SK, bring up the Dune dashboards.
Yep. What's up?
This is the console. These are the console. You know when we watch Star Trek and you're at they're on the bridge and you see those wall of all those analytics and graphs and stuff like that. That's the whole Starship Enterprise. They have a beat on everything that's going on in the system. That's what this is. That's what that Dune dashboard is. Every single number aspect of the system is exposed. I had the forethought to create additional functions additional events that are firing. For every single contract, there's 50 contracts, over 50 contracts running in concert. They're all throwing off data. You know, based on my experience in industry, that's how I wrote and designed those contracts. So because I was going to write all this, I'm not a data scientist. I'm a software architect. I love what I do, but I hate grunt work like this stuff. I hate paper pushing, but I knew that somebody was going to do it. So I spent the extra time to provide the tools at the smart contract level so that somebody could do it. And for damn sure, look at those charts. Somebody did it. That's the difference between, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, BT, I love your passion, and you know, you SK mentioned you went to MIT, and you're brilliant and great questions from the community. SK, what's the next topic?
I mean, I think a lot's actually been covered. I already went through futures and the multiplicative effect on how, you know, Bertha is channeling that economic energy and selling less tokens to go out. And when you back that up on top of what we've already discussed with how, you know, the tokenomics are designed to always have the LPs dropping, you know, Bertha's constantly buying. Why does Bertha constantly buy elephant token and drain the LPs? Because people are using futures, because people are buying NFTs. Later in the future, when Trunk is back online, people are going to be minting Trunk. All of these different yield generating contracts are all pointed at adding more money into Bertha's pocketbook to buy elephant token and stuff her bag. The more she keeps doing that, the larger her slice of the pie gets. Like, you know, back before she was smaller than the combined LPs, the community called this event the flippening, when Bertha was now bigger than the combined LPs. You see that, right? Now, we're on track. If you watch that model again, we're on track to have another flippening, where Bertha will then be larger than the participant slice of the pie. You see how close she's getting to that, right? That is the next flippening. The more of a lion's share that the graveyard plus Bertha hold, it's all about protocol owned liquidity. That's why the top human holder only has 0.8% of the supply. The liquidity isn't really in the hands of users. That's why you don't have to worry about people dumping the chart, because they can't crash the chart in these doomsday scenarios. It's improbable, as I've said. So all of the math, everything's pointing towards Bertha holding a lion's share, the protocol owned liquidity being a lion's share of everything, which pays out everything else. So we went over the token. We went over why it supply shocks, why it goes up, why 300 million market cap is still early, because you're looking at a supply adjusted $16.50 Bitcoin. That's how early you are if Elephant were a 21 million supply token. And yeah, you know, there's nothing that's going to stop this parabolic run. And so you're hearing of this right now, which is great, because you don't want to be that guy that FOMOs in 50x too late when you heard about it today and you didn't do enough research, right? So definitely pay attention. I think, Big Kid, the only other thing that we, you know, could hit upon really is the NFTs, which, you know, BT already did a fantastic job trying to go over, but in a nutshell, there are different rounds. There's an unlimited amount of rounds and an unlimited amount of NFTs. The rub, though, is that each round has 10,000 mints, okay? And once a round finishes, now we're in round 2. When a round finishes, the price doubles. So in round 1, we already went through all 10,000 NFTs. That was 1 BNB a pop. Now we're in round 2. It's 2 BNB. Next round will be 4 BNB, then 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, right? And like BT said, this APR is going to reverse, because eventually you get to a point where the NFT sales stagnate, right? The reward 1% APR coming out of Bertha gets divvied by, you know, a stagnating amount of people, because how many people are really going to buy a 128 BNB NFT? And there's 10,000 of them. What's BNB price going to be at that time? 1,000? 2,000? So the NFT sales will slow down, but Bertha's 1% is going to keep going up. Why? Because she's designed to keep going up. Look at the yellow on this chart. Bertha just keeps climbing, right? So her 1% APR is perpetual. So, versus the NFT sale slowing down. So this APR will reverse and will go up and go down maybe a little bit on the cooldown periods, like BT said. But last point about the NFTs. BT already made a great analogy about, McDonald's and franchising that. This could also be thought about as real estate. Like, say you had bought a lot of land in New York City 3 decades ago. You obviously want your lot of land to go up in value, right? Well, the NFT is your lot. The NFT price does go up in value. It doubles every round, right? And on that lot of land, you built some apartment buildings. So you're collecting rent, right? And here with the NFTs, you're collecting rent in the form of Elephant token. So if I come over here, you'll see that, I bought 30 NFTs for 1 BNB a pop. And when the round doubled, my price doubled. So, my value is already nice. I'm already going up on my real estate lot. But in addition to that, my total rewards, guys, look, I'm earning Elephant token. This is 788 million tokens so far, valued today at $274. And because I'm earning an appreciating asset, because you're getting paid rent off of your lot in Elephant token, well, when Elephant token 10x's, so too does my 274, doesn't it? That becomes 2,700, So as Elephant token goes up, which mathematically we just saw, it's going up. So what it's been doing, this is going to go up as well. And as long as these supply shockonomics work, which is an industry first, remember that, guys. You've never seen this before because it's never been done before. When you bring up these other projects and like, oh, yeah, they collect taxes and they do this. What are those projects doing? They're probably dead, right? 90% of DeFi fails. Let's just be real, okay? I've already participated in dozens of them. I've been in that same song and dance. I know how it goes. Elephant isn't that. This is a cut above the rest.
CMC incoming, okay?
Yeah. And BT's working on that actively. Pretty soon the numbers and the TVL and everything at Elephant Money is going to be undeniable. And BT's already working on CMC. Pretty soon they'll be listing us accurately.
I meant, with most other tokens, it's always this gimmick or thing that's coming.
Guys, we just launched. Coin Gecko. Yep. Oh yeah. CMC. When marketing, when Lambo. Yeah, all that trash that you guys see, like this is not that. Sorry to burst your bubble. But I think that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, this has the balance sheet to prove everything that we've talked about today. I think someone had a quick question. Actually, I will say this. Someone did have a quick question about Trunk, even though I'm not going to talk about any of the Stampede and stuff. But just understand this. The circulating supply of Trunk right now is 34 million tokens. That's either liquid or locked into Stampede and just all across the board, right? When Bertha, this is her treasury value, Bertha is at 59 million today. When she is at least 10x the size of the Trunk supply, that is when Bertha was going to start writing fatter checks on a daily basis to buy Trunk back up to $1. So if you do hold Trunk token, or if you wanted to buy it now for 15 cents, just understand it does go back to $1 but it happens after Elephant pops off. So because the treasury, as is made of Elephant token, when Elephant does a 10x, what happens to this $59 million? There's also 10x's, right? This is $590 million. So yeah, Trunk is going to have its time. Sometime early next year. But yeah, right now, we focus on building Bertha, nursing her back to health. And also this too, someone said, right now we're kind of reliant on user adoption, right? But when you look at what we do versus other people and the multiplicative effect of the incoming money, we do it better than any other project you've ever seen. Okay. Those are just pure money in, money out. But again, I reiterate, this is money in, Bertha multiplies it, sells less tokens, money out. There are too many tokenomics that are original and innovative here that harnesses that economic energy better than anything you've seen. Okay. And once we are post recovery, which would essentially mean when Trunk is back at peg, that's when Bertha's treasury value is going to be in the 5, 6, 800 million, one day multiple billions of dollars. BT's on record of saying that one day, we will, Bertha will open up her pocketbook. There's no problem with her in the future investing into yield generating platforms or farming or DeFi projects and supporting the DeFi industry. Bertha isn't here, or Elephant Money as a protocol isn't here to be the end all be all. It's just the best bucket in DeFi, like BT said. You put water in it and it doesn't leak. And then we want DeFi overall to succeed. So what is Bertha going to do in the future? She will invest in other outside sources for everyone's quote unquote external revenue that they want to see. Right now, we don't need it. Why? Because the chart's going to sell itself. The holder count is going to go up. Just as we tripled from 6,000 to 18,000, we will triple from 20,000 up to 80,000 and then 120,000. It's just going to keep going up, right? So, yeah. Any questions?
Yeah.
No.
And
Well,
Arn, I wanted to get you in. What are your thoughts, sir?
Oh, behave. Well, my thoughts are, I learn a lot just listening to you guys. I aped. I just blind aped it. I was very late to the party. Ken had shilled it to me. I mean, the room was talking about it, but Ken sold me on it. I threw in about $8,000, and that was around 200. There's a lot I don't know yet. I mean, I'm learning, but a lot of this stuff is just way above my head, my pea brain. And again, I leave the hard questions to everybody else. But I will say this: you guys are brilliant. I'm very impressed. I get a crypto boner just listening about this project. And the possibilities, the capabilities, everything that you guys are doing. I think it's one of the very best to have come, certainly through MMKK in a while. We get a lot of good ones too, but this one is definitely a special type of monster. And so, I'm just always learning. I'm watching. There's a lot that's untapped that I haven't even gotten into yet. And I'm still confused by most of it, but I'm olden and I'm around and I'm here, and I'm just very impressed with you guys. I know all of us in the room are bullish is an understatement. So SK, you're doing a great job. All of you guys are doing just pretty fantastic with this. I know we all want to make a lot of money, and I think we are going to make a lot of money. And Bankteller, you're incredible, and just keep it up because I'm fascinated by it. I'm intrigued, and I'm certainly loving the trajectory of it. So I mean that's what I can add to this. And just great job, and hats off to you guys.
I want to say something too. We all have.
And thank you, Arn. Wow, that was awesome, dude.
Yeah, thank you, Arn. You're awesome, brother. We all have things that we trade, right? We all jump into different tokens on a daily basis, and those are basically in and outs because we know what's going to happen, right? They're going to, get in. You're going to get in early. It's going to moon, and you're going to jump out because it's going to crash. Then we all have those tokens that, like Squid Grow, for instance. This room, myself, we're all big fans of Squid Grow because we believe in Shibtoshi. We believe in that project. We know that project's not going to rug or go anywhere, right? We all have those tokens that we hold: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Squid Grows, the ones that we just buy and we kind of forget about it and let it sit there and do what it's going to do. Elephant Money is one of those tokens that you should probably, even if you don't buy a big bag, we never encourage anybody to overinvest in anything, right? Always do your risk management. But if you're not holding a little bag of Elephant Money, it is one of those tokens that you should probably just buy, even if you don't want to participate in all the other things, the NFTs and everything else that's going on in the ecosystem. If it's just a token that you want to buy and hold, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, all these other blue chips that are out there, because the team behind the project, BT's a mastermind at this. Like I've said before, he is a pioneer. All these other projects that you see out there copied one of his original projects that he went through trials on and learned from mistakes over there. But there's projects out there that a lot of the ROI stuff that you see today is based off of a concept that he created. This token right here is completely different. And it should be in the category of, this is a token that I'm going to buy and just sit over here on the side and not even pay attention to it. Be excited when it's going up and all those things. But if it's going it should just be one of those tokens that you hold.
Amen. Yeah, that's exactly right, guys. Like, Arn, even though, you hit upon something too, that like, this is too complex, right? And really, that's where you just want to dip your toes into just the elephant token. It's very simple to understand. Basically, it boils down to, I know who the whale is on this token, and as long as that whale doesn't sell, my price go up, right? That's what it boils down to. And price go up, the chart sells itself. User adoption keeps coming in, price keep going up. People start discovering the NFTs and futures and all that stuff you can learn later. But first and foremost, you start with the tokens, the easiest part. And I have the stats of just the token. Arn, before you say something, remember, fun fact, in the entire year of 2022, this token outperformed 100% of the top 100 crypto assets. And that is despite the exploit. Think about that. That is huge. And so we're already top dog. We're the champion of 2022, despite an attack. And here we are this far into 2023. We're already outperforming 97% of the top 100 crypto assets. I'm willing to bet by the end of this year, this will once again say 100% of the top 100. 2 years back to back, outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum. You tell me who's not going to want to invest in a token that's already been battle tested, that has deep liquidity, that has all the right marketing muscle with the community volunteers putting together all the math, the charts, the podcast, the YouTube videos, right? This is a powerhouse, and you guys are hearing it first.
Yeah, and yeah, and look, you don't have to. You're a great salesman. I'm already sold, but yeah, what I meant by a lot of it's complicated for my pea brain, I just meant that there's just so many elements to this that it's hard for me personally to wrap my head around just the complexities and the schematics of how it all works. That's all I meant by that. It doesn't mean that I'm intimidated by it or necessarily even overwhelmed. But I will add that, I trust you guys, and I think we all trust you guys. And the project, look, I didn't even know about it until a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if my head was up my ass for a year, if I was living under a rock. I did not know about this project. And what blew me away was that it's on BSC. And, so I did a little research. And like I said, Ken was telling me about it. And I just, if only I had gotten in at 100 instead of 2. But I got in. And I'm holding, and I'm going to continue to hold because it's one of those projects like DS was saying. We get a lot of projects, as you know, that come through MMKK. We vet them, we put them on the hot seat. Papa grills them, Cuzzo grills them. I butter them up, but then we grill them. But many of these projects come and go. Some of them are winners, some of them are half winners, some of them are smaller winners. But like he was saying, like Squid Grow, that trust factor is there, that goodness, that park your money, chill out for a year or so, enjoy. There's nothing to worry about. One guy's not going to ruin it. There's no one going rogue. That trust is there. You've got my trust. I know that you've got others in this room's trust. And so that's the special feeling involved in this. I mean, granted, the project's exciting as hell. And there's just a lot of goodness going on it, but you got my trust. And so, like I said, I mean, I'm underinvested. I mean, I threw in 8K, right? So it was at 200 million. I should have thrown in more, but it is what it is, and it's all good. Maybe I'll even throw in some more. But like I said, the trust is there. I feel good about it. And anything that I haven't learned or I haven't been able to wrap my head around, I know that I can ask questions, not only to you guys, but certainly to other dudes in this room that are quite knowledgeable about how all those schematics work, and that know crypto just a little bit better than I do. So that's what's great, and that's part of the community of what makes up MMKK as it is to begin with. So, like I said, you got me. I'm in.
You know what? Do this. Go pull any project that's come through this channel in the last year that's in 100 plus market cap, 100 plus million market cap, and compare the liquidities.
Yeah. That's one of the things that, I still get DMs like, oh, SK, do you support this project and this one and this one? It's just like, look, the writing's on the wall. The numbers speak for themselves. I can take the liquidity of Elephant and I can compare it to every other project I've ever talked about on my channel for the last 2.5 years combined. And there's more liquidity at Elephant than any of that, right? Numbers don't lie. Man, it's so impressive. So.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you need to get out of the mindset of thinking that you're late. We're still early. And, I've been in this project for a very long time. DC had another 50 beans in it today because we know what's coming. We've been here before. We've seen it. We know what to expect. So
yes.
you're definitely not late. Not at all. You're still early. So don't think you're buying the top, because I know some of you are looking at the chart probably thinking it's going to correct, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. We've been here before and we know what's coming.
Yes.
And you know what? That says a lot, because me and Jez, you guys all know, we never talk in these AMAs. When any project comes through here and there's an AMA going on, we never talk about that project.
I think you actually did when Frog Arm came through, but we won't talk about that now.
If you remember correctly, Diaz also talked about ARC a lot too. So Diaz, let's keep that under wraps, bro. But
another thing, just you don't know this, SK, but we had another project based on math. I won't mention the name, but I was skeptical at first. But
hey, that ain't even right, big kid. Oh shit.
I was gonna say a joke, but I'll just quit. It was called Ethereal. Yeah. He was
I remember that one.
He's autistic genius, and
SK's seen it in our DAO. He's in our DAO.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I'll be quiet.
I'm in there. Yeah, something didn't smell right with Ethereal from the moment. I listened to the whole AMA, and I'm just like, yeah, this sounds a little too good to be true, and it's all just talk. It's all talk. But anyway, that's why I stopped diversifying into stuff. Like there's enough to diversify into within the Elephant money umbrella that's just magical. But just like Jez was saying, dude, and thank you for the kind words, man, but that you already know what this token's gonna do. Why? Because it's already done it. If you look at this chart on my screen right now and you just put your thumb over that exploit, what is the trend line of the token, right? How does it defy gravity like that? And it dips but never dumps, okay? That's what you're looking at here. And I want you to know that you are not late, because eventually this token is going to look like this, all right? An elephant is going from point A to point B, right? And that attack a year and a half ago is going to look like a chart glitch, all right?
You know what, too? SK's funny about that shit when it was going up like that last time, there was sales. Like, people were taking profits. There was $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 sales. And look what the chart did. It continued in the upward trajectory. It didn't move.
Yeah, didn't move. This is actually a snapshot from that time. And we talked about that graveyard rebalance right there. That was the biggest single red candlestick you could ever witness. And what did it do? It literally just kept going up. And what's really cool, too, about the graveyard rebalance, this is a community monitored event. People are waiting for this to happen because this is one of the only times you can catch a dip when it otherwise is going parabolic. But that's just incredible, guys. And remember this again, like Cuzzo and the others worried about bank runs. This was a 5 trillion token sell, right? There is only one other person on this entire list of holders that can even do that. And that's this top dog at 8.2 trillion. Everybody underneath that has less than 5 trillion tokens, okay? Not a single other person can do a candlestick that large when we're going parabolic. And even if they did, the chart don't care. Bertha gets her cut. She supply shocks the token further and faster up. That's the genius here, unlike anything you've seen before. So, what else you got?
What other questions we have, folks?
Well, I don't have any question, but, you know, as I've already been an elephant for a long time, but I just want to say thank you again, SK CryptoK. You know, you always do a great job, and it's great to see Bankteller in here as well with us. So, you know, thanks again for all the time and energy you put in sharing about Elephant to everybody. I mean, I know you do it just, you know, because you're excited about it, and obviously you're an investor and so on and so forth, but awesome to see you out here spreading the good word. So thanks again.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Mystic Dude. You and I go back several years now, back when we were 9 million market cap. But
that's right. Yeah, 2 years ago now.
Yeah, no, it's incredible, man. It's been a good journey.
Yeah, I wish I
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wish I could have been in here earlier for this particular AMA, but had some other things I was busy with. But sounds like it's been a good one. 2 hours, another banger, another long one.
Yeah, no, this one was pretty solid. We'll probably wrap it up here in a little bit. And I've been keeping note of who's kind of really been inside of the chat the whole time, and I've got a list that I'll put on this wheel for this rare black NFT that I will be giving away.
I think that's why Bankteller is in here, and he should not be able to win it. So,
nah, he's good.
We know how lucky he is.
Yeah. Nah, he's not on my list. He's not on my list. And actually, this NFT isn't even coming from Bankteller. So, you know, this is just an awesome gesture for you guys, and I'm happy that you brought, you know, all your folks here, and I hope that people catch this recording, and we'll have this up on YouTube. I kept it clean this time, so we can actually post it on the Elephant channel, and it'll do really well. Yeah, no, absolutely.
You do have a habit of getting pretty excited during your AMAs, and some explicit language can pop out from time to time.
I know. I gotta watch that. It's so aggravating to see what happens in the rest of DeFi, to be honest with you. Like, you have literally the best financial vehicle staring at you in the face. And BT's been telling me this for years, and man, has he been correct. But all these millions of dollars are being pumped into all these other just low liquidity startups for inexperienced teams, right? And had it just gone to Elephant, we could have been a lot further in the recovery. Like, he's been 100% right on that. And now that I've had that aha moment, took a while, it's just crazy and aggravating. I see why he's been upset in the past. It's just like, we have the best thing staring at you in the face. Like, come on, guys. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. And it's awesome that BT's actually here. I can't even remember the last AMA. Him and I were in there together to give the old 1-2 punch, right? So for him to pop in here is fantastic.
No, I appreciate it. He's now, again, a valued member of MMKK, and we're happy to have him. So, final call for questions. Anyone? Okay, do you want to give a wrap statement? Okay.
My only question was, so you said this NFT, the black NFT, where's that one coming from? You said it's not from Bankteller. So is that from you, SK?
Actually, it is from an anonymous community member. They were so impressed with the recent AMAs that they wanted to generate some extra hype, and they asked me where best would it be, and you guys came to mind, so I chose y'all.
I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely our names increasingly getting out there, and we're going to start doing more Twitter spaces, and our demand's been really high by other I was going to say other similar top projects, but I don't want to FUD elephant, but other projects constantly want to come and speak to us, so I appreciate that, SK.
Yeah, hey, no, you're very welcome, man. So I'm going to pull up my little list right here, my wheel of names, all right? And I don't think everyone, some people actually dropped off. I know A1 was in here a while ago, but, now he's gone. That sucks. But he got the whole spiel yesterday on the Coin Merge AMA. But most everybody else should be in here. I'm going to spin this wheel, and if you are chosen, you need to tell me what you learned about elephant money, and you can't just say, oh, I know, put money in, token go up. You will disqualify yourself. So you need to say some tangible things you've learned from this AMA, and you will walk away with a rare black NFT, which, let me remind you, there's only a 6% chance on Mint to land this NFT. And think about how there's Bitcoin conventions and all that stuff that go on out there. When Elephant, we're already a top 100 crypto. Just, fun fact. And as we break into the top 50, the top 20, you best believe BT's already announced it, but there will be Elephant conventions, and this black NFT will get you in those free of charge. So talk about some utility and some fun stuff there. But yeah, I think everyone should see their name here pretty much. Oh, anything else? What'd you say?
I feel I feel unfortunate that I couldn't have been here earlier to qualify for this NFT drop.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to go through some of this list here. Sesh, I think Sesh dropped off. Oh, sorry, Sesh, you're out. LFG now.
You dropped too.
All right, so we're going to clean this list up, guys, because I want this to be fair for the people who actually stuck around the entire time. So I see Jay. I see Woodsy. Yeah, call out any other names. Someone help me out. You're looking at the same list I am. Tell me if you see a person that needs to be removed. And don't joke around and be like, oh, DS Crypto needs to be removed. He's right there.
He does.
Freestyle. Yeah, Freestyle's here. Rain, JB, CryptoK, Zshan. Is Zshan still here? Oh, no, I lost.
Yes, sir. He's here.
Okay. Cool. Sean?
I seen Aaron.
Crypto voice guy is off.
Yeah, and Aaron Z, I think, is off.
Okay. Aaron Z is off. Oh, man, Sean. I was talking to Sean in the impromptu AMA yesterday, and he left. Oh, man. Okay. All right. Nope. I think we're about ready to spin it. Yeah, I see Mike. Mike may have joined in late, but yeah, Mike, you tell me what you learned. What about Michael? Mikhail? Mikhail's off.
Mikhail's off. Zaga is off.
Oh man, that is unfortunate. Maybe I should have did it in the middle. Okay. Well, we are gonna run it, guys. Here we go. I don't know if you want to actually end the recording. We should have done this offline. We'll do it live just so people know it's real. All right, so we're gonna shuffle. Here we go.
And spin the wheel. Oh my god.
Here we go. Who's it gonna be? All right, so it landed on Jenna. Now, Jenna, you have to unmute.
Jenna.
Tell me what you learned today.
Hello. I've learned
Hey.
that I have a better voice than I have done for a while.
Okay.
The main thing I guess I learned is that with your LP, that you're the second biggest holder in BNB and one of the largest holders in BUSD, and also sort of like some of the mathematics behind your NFTs, and also SK is one of a mathematical genius. Beyond that, I'm still trying to learn a little bit further because I don't want to go down the route of just like pump your money in and hope for the best. But yeah, I've learned lots more.
Okay, well, awesome. Yeah, I think you've been in here long enough too. So thank you. Congratulations. You just won the NFT, Jenna. So DM me your wallet address and I will get it over to the awesome community member who's giving it away. And we'll confirm it here in the group so everyone knows, it's all good.
Congrats, Jenna. Happy for you.
Thank you.
I'll make up for your COVID recovery. Freestyle, would you mind hitting the record off button? We can keep talking for a few minutes.